Hello guys, Mr. Fluffy Pants here. Today guys, another video, and today guys we're reviewing The Karate Kid Part 3, which was released in 1989, and, this is the sequel to the first two. Also did do reviews for those two, so check those reviews out down in the description, but, I'm working my way up to watching Cobra Kai, I said for sure, I was going to watch parts 1 through 3, and I was like, yeah, I'm probably not going to watch, the next Karate Kid, but I think I'm just going to go and watch it just because, it has it's the last movie that has Mr. Miyagi in it, but we'll cross that road when we get there, because, I eventually went my way up to Cobra Kai, and, ever since the first one, I have not been really looking forward to any of the sequels at all, but I was really surprised by part 2, which I really enjoyed, and even part 3, I was not looking forward to watching this at all, but, I enjoyed the heck out of this movie, honestly, I kind of feel like this was, I feel like Karate Kid Part 2 wasn't really, a sequel to the first one. This is, the actual sequel to the first one, because, this picks up the storyline, of John Kreese and Cobra Kai and all that, and I feel like that's, the true sequel, but, and I can definitely see why people do not enjoy this movie. This kind of reminds me of, the whole time when I was watching it, it kind of reminded me of the kind of Rocky 5 situation, if that makes any sense. It's kind of got a similar story, but also not really, but, just the kind of, I guess the reason why people don't like it just gives me that whole Rocky 5 situation, which, I like Rocky 5, just like I like this movie, but, which, I do think that a sequel, on John Kreese's, Sensei Cobra Kai's revenge story, I thought that was a really good idea, and, I thought that was the obvious way the sequel was going to go, but, he's not even really in this movie that much. It's really, Mr. Silver, which is kind of his sensei, or, whatever, they served in Vietnam together, but, and then, also the, I forgot the kid's name, but, the kid, he gets to fight, in the tournament. Let's see, Mike Barnes, which, he's, I think we got a new award for the biggest dickwad in the Karate Kid franchise, beating, whatever the Mr. Soto's, nephew was in the last movie. This guy's even more of a dickwad in with his, two, brony Snake and, whatever the other one was, but, this movie also, has flashbacks to the first movie and the beginning of the second movie with, John Kreese and, Johnny and whatnot, which, I kind of wish he was in this, but I know he's in Cobra Kai, so I'm not really too worried about it, but, and then the whole story, with, John Kreese wanting his revenge. He's like, I want you to make his knuckles bloody, and, this also just kind of has that, kind of, even Daniel says it best when, he feels like his whole life's falling apart and he can't really do nothing about it, but he knows it's his fault. His relationship with Mr. Miyagi, is falling apart, which just made me sad, especially when Mr. Miyagi looked at that picture they had in Okinawa from part 2, and he's like, my heart is empty until you return, Daniel's son. That was just really sad. And, the whole thing with the tournament, and, Daniel's wanting to kind of do it. Mr. Miyagi's like, no. And then when, he's forced to, sign up for the tournament, because the, Mike Barnes and Snake and all them, because, held hostage, with that girl, which I definitely say that's the weakest love story. The 3 so far, what was her, I even forgot her name, but, oh yeah, Jessica Andrews, she was just kind of in there, just kind of have a, love interest in there, but, I wouldn't even say it's a love interest, honestly, just kind of a nice little friendship or whatnot, which, she really helps him, bring to light, what's he doing, because, he starts training under Mr. Silver, which, he has those alternate motives, getting revenge. And let me just say that whole, also, I forgot I mentioned, Mr. Miyagi and, Daniel's, Mr. Miyagi's little tree shop, which I think is just, so sweet of Daniel, to give his college for that, which, he's like, in a few years, I'm not going to care about this anyway, so there's no point in me going to college, so Mr. Miyagi, here's your dream come true. And I love whenever, Mr. Miyagi's shop kind of gets busted up from the bullies or whatnot, and, all his trees get stolen. Mr. Miyagi's like, I'm going to go fishing, and Daniel's like, what are you talking about? Go report to the police. Mr. Miyagi's like, better, to be sat on full stomach. And he just straight up goes fishing, which I think is hilarious. And, the whole thing with Daniel and Jessica going to get the true bonsai tree Mr. Miyagi planted, and how that breaks, and that's kind of like a analogy throughout the movie, how it starts dying with kind of like Mr. Miyagi and Daniel's son's relationship, and then it heals and its roots become strong and whatnot. Just a very nice kind of little metaphor there, I guess, for the movie. And and also that one scene in the Cobra Kai dojo, with Silver, Kreese and Mike, and you know them beating up on Daniel, especially when Kreese just jumps out and goes ah and screams. It's so funny. But you know, they start beating up on you know, Daniel. Then Mr. Miyagi just shows up. I love every time he shows up. It's just great. He does that twice in this movie. Just shows up and starts beating up people. It's great. Like I don't know, I just love it. And then you know the tournament. I think I would say this is probably the most intense fight scene of the three so far, honestly, because I don't know, I feel like the stakes were like honestly really high, and you know how they're just making him suffer. And I'm just saying, like, they gave you know, since that is the finals match, they gave you know, Mike Barnes so much leeway. Like I'm just saying, if that was real, he would have been disqualified like 3 negative points ago, because you know he got so many points taken away from him. He would have been gone a long time ago. But I digress. And you know, and then I love whenever, you know, when they're taking an intermission before sudden death, Mr. Miyagi, when Daniel's on the ground, just gets on and you know is like shouting at him and gives him like a little pep talk. I think that's the best so far, honestly. Like I said, that whole final tournament I felt like was better than the original one. I feel like it's got better stakes. You know, you still can't beat the classic Kremu, but the kata thing he does, it's still pretty cool. And you know, movie kind of ends abruptly, but kind of interested to see if there's any fallout from the end of this tournament or whatnot. But honestly, though, like I said, I think the tournament's better. I think the kind of story with you know, Daniel getting trained by you know, Mr. Silver and all that, like I get what they were going for. I don't know, I just kind of don't feel like it works. Like, you know, I could definitely see, and maybe I don't know, I think they kind of take a little bit too far, because Daniel does be kind of, you know, kind of a jerk or whatnot. But I could definitely see what they were going for. You know, they just kind of made him unlockable, and felt so bad for Mr. Miyagi, but you know, I think the end wrapped it up pretty good, because I think the beginning was like really strong, and it kind of like got a little bit weaker, but then they brought it right back with the beginning, honestly. And I could see, like, you know, people having trouble with, you know, that whole middle section, you know, where Daniel's just kind of spinning out of control or whatnot. But like I said, though, I really like how, you know, they brought it back at the end or whatnot. And honestly, Karate Kid Part 3 I think kind of gets a bad rap, because honestly I really enjoyed this movie. I think I liked it better than Part 2, which, don't get me wrong, I still love Part 2, but you know, this is really the true sequel to the first one, and you know, that first one's just a classic. But I'm probably gonna give Part 2, I'll give it like a 9.0, because you know, I honestly really enjoyed this movie, and I kind of had low expectations going into it, so maybe that affected it, I don't know. But yeah, so I'll give it a 9.0 out of 10. But anyway, guys, check out my Twitter and Discord link in the description. Also, let me know what you guys thought about Part 3 down below, and how you guys rank the first 3 movies. But like, subscribe for more, check out some other videos, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!